And welcome back, everybody, to another Friday night hangout, man. How you guys doing? How's your week been? How's your evening been? Let's go, man. Any plans for the weekend? Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, man. Welcome to another. Just we're hanging out. We're gonna be talking about some regular season, some of my favorite regular season moments. I still have a few that I need to kind of get up here, but most of them are ready to go. So if you see me kind of typing and kind of moving some stuff around. That's why. But yeah, man, let's freaking go. I'm gonna take a minute or two just to kind of make sure everybody gets in that's coming through. So we'll just kind of linger for a little bit here. But yeah, man, welcome, man. Let me know if you're in the chat. Hit it up and say hello. Thank you. But yeah, man. Of course, another busy week for myself, man. The weather has been phenomenal here in Wisconsin. Unfortunately, we are going to get some snow starting either tomorrow or potentially very early on Sunday. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big snowstorm, so that's a good thing. Hopefully, the snow will not last, but it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. Today was like 50 degrees, dude. I saw people in shorts, t-shirts, man. Everybody was just even though the sun wasn't really out today, man, it was a great day in Wisconsin. So yeah, man. Let me know what the weather is like where you're at, man. Let's go. All right. So we will start with some news that I should have done actually last week. I didn't even put a post out. But there should have been, I should have talked about it last Friday night hangout, but I completely forgot about it. I even still had the picture up there, but it was literally the first thing I put. So when I was like putting up the other things that I was going to talk about, it basically fell all the way to the bottom and I never got to it and I completely forgot about it. It should have been the first thing I talked about just to get it out of the way. But it was not. So I will do it here at the very top of this Friday night hangout. So the big news in Green Bay, Wisconsin is our new special teams coordinator, Cameron Ochard. So Rich Bisaccia, if you didn't know, 10 days ago on the 17th of February, he resigned from his position as not only special teams coordinator for the Packers that he had held for the last 4 years, but also basically the assistant head coach for the Green Bay Packers, a position that he has held for the last 3 seasons now. So, but yeah, man, there still hasn't been exactly word on what caused Rich to just step away from the game or step away from the team. He hasn't been hired anywhere else. There's still no word if he's even going to be involved in football this season. I think eventually, at some point, probably whether it's in the NFL or whether it's in college, something Rich will probably be somewhere in the background, probably. We've seen that a couple times with a couple coaches, especially in Green Bay, especially after you either get fired or you kind of just leave the position. You take a few months, take a few weeks, and then you kind of become an unofficial advisor for a team. Usually, some of these guys, like we saw the last couple of years with some guys that Matt Lafleur has been friends with for a long time. Um, but so yeah, but speaking of that, like Rich Bisaccia, obviously his group's performance has steadily declined every single year. Year one was incredible. Obviously, that was the year that Keyshawn Nixon also joined the Packers. Those were the seasons where he had those. I think it was two, potentially almost three kick returns for touchdowns. I think it was just two. Um, yeah, that was when Keyshawn was making massive plays on special teams. I wish he was still doing that. I understand why he didn't want to and why the Packers decided to keep him on defense primarily, but I wish he would still be on there because I think he could still make some plays. Um, yeah, but unfortunately, the Packers were never really able to replace Keyshawn as a returner there. Guys have not been able to even come close to being as explosive, let alone avoid mistakes, which has been a big issue. Obviously, we'll talk about some of the things that that happened this season. Obviously, some block kicks, some missed field goals. It's not all bad. I think the punting situation for Green Bay has been great. I think Daniel Whalen has been arguably the best punter the Packers have had in over a decade, probably since Tim Mastay left, and I think he's even been better than Tim Mastay. And on top of that, I think the long snapper has been solid. Very few noticeable weird long snaps, anything like that. They've been consistent. The kicking situation has just been the thing that the Packers have not really been able to really keep it down. But on top of that, coverage units have been an issue. The lack of big plays, even if it's not a touchdown, just having a decent return on punt or kick returns has been non-existent for the last 2 seasons. And overall, the Packers special teams unit has just has fallen towards the back third of the NFL. So it might have been time. Maybe Rich knew that. Maybe it was just, you know what, let's try to get some new blood. Let me step away, give these guys a chance to hear a new voice and something different. So, but having said that, let's talk about the man that they hired here in Cameron Orchard. So he was the special teams coordinator for the Patriots from 2000 until 2020. 2020 to 2024. 4 seasons. My apologies. Jesus, wow. See, I need some caffeine. But anyway, 2020 to 2023, special teams coordinator. His first season as the Patriots special teams coach, he was phenomenal. They were the #1 special teams in the NFL. And then it fell off pretty dramatically. The next season, they dropped to 18th. And then it was dead last in 2022. And then finally 20th in his final season there. Before then, he was an assistant special teams coordinator for the Patriots for, I think it was 3 seasons. He helped win them a Super Bowl in 2018. That was against the Rams. That was that horrible, horrible Super Bowl. And then the last 2 seasons, he has been with the New York Giants as an assistant special teams coordinator, basically the similar position that he held during his first couple of years with the Patriots. John Harbaugh did not decide to keep him. John Harbaugh, obviously, not only the head coach for the Giants, new one, but he's also was basically John came up through the NFL as a special teams coordinator. So I think he wanted not only a very specific vision, but also probably wanted to bring in his own guy at that position. So probably one of the major reasons why the Giants decided not to keep Cameron. But on top of that, he was just an assistant special teams coordinator. He was not the actual full-time coordinator there in New York. So, but yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. I obviously the rankings don't look great. They seem to have gotten worse as the seasons went along. I think the last 3 seasons they averaged at basically when you average those 3, 18, 32, 28, they basically average out to about 26th, 25th overall. So I know some Packer fans are not happy with this. They look at the stats, they look at the numbers, and it just does not look great. Typically, when New England Patriot coordinators leave New England, they tend not to do well, but usually that's when they become head coaches. When they stay at their position, they tend to do okay. So, but yeah, man. So welcome, Cam Orchards. Hopefully, it becomes a successful tenure for him here, because the Packers they don't need anything special. I'm not looking for a top 5, top 3 special teams. Just be competent, avoid the mistakes, and maybe 2 or 3 times in a season, maybe a little bit more. Just have a big play. Doesn't have to be a touchdown. Just get us in scoring position every once in a while. So, but yeah, that's something I should have talked about last week. He was just hired today But Rich Bisaccia did step away 10 days ago, so that's something I should have mentioned. But yeah, so new special teams coordinator for the Packers. There it is. Steve, another wild week. USA hockey win gold since 1980. Let's go. Mexico on fire. Recap for this season will be 301.2 million. Let's go. Dallas still don't do anything with George. God bless him. True, man. Don't worry, man. It's the Packers don't. The Packers, the Cowboys don't need to rush into a contract. It'll take time. There's no way, absolutely no way, unless George Pickens does not want to be a Cowboy, which he hasn't indicated that he doesn't want to be. He will be a Dallas Cowboy. So I'm not too worried about them messing that up. I think they would be kind of foolish to not pay him. The guy played like an absolute. The guy played like a top five receiver, man. Was it every single week? No, but as we saw with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, these guys are not going to be putting up 150, 175 yards every single week. But George Pickens was a dominant receiver, man. Even when CeeDee Lamb finally came back from that ankle injury, he was still putting up some big numbers, man. So I would be very surprised if George Pickens does not sign a long-term deal with the Cowboys. I'd be very surprised. But yeah, but Steve, welcome, brother. How you doing? How you doing, man? But yeah, man. Yeah, I saw that USA. I saw the highlights, I should say, of the U.S. hockey's. Not only the men's, not only did they win gold, but the women's as well, man. So congratulations to the men's. Congratulations to the women's. Putting up great performances. The women's was a freaking dominant performance, man. Dominant performance. Um, yeah, man. And I think the men's went into like what, double overtime, triple overtime, something like that. It was wild. So yeah, big week for U.S. hockey. So heck yeah. Let me see here. I'm trying to think here. But yeah, Steve, how you doing, my man? Let me know. Let me know. How's your week been? And do you have any plans for the weekend, dude? Let me know. All right. Steve, nothing. Just waiting for football season. 100%. I'm right there with you. I'm like that meme where I think it's a lady. She's like, she's trying to get ready. She's already gotten ready, waiting for everybody else to get ready. She's on her couch, all dressed up, sunglasses, and still waiting, still waiting. I'm that meme right there. I'm just like, I'm ready to go, man. Like, where you guys at, huh? Where's football at? Come on. I was like, come on, man. Football doesn't need to be gone for, you know, 5 to 6 months, man. Like, take 2, 3 weeks off and get back to it. All right, let's start the season again. Let's go. Let me see here. So let's get to some of my favorite parts of the regular season. So the last couple of weeks, I've been breaking down. I broke down some of my favorite parts of the Super Bowl, some underrated storylines or players. I did the last week. I did the playoffs. We didn't get through all of them, but we did get through most of them. And now we're going to do the regular season. So these are mostly just going to be some of the things that when I think about the 2025 NFL season, these are the things that I'm going to be thinking about the most. These are going to be some of the top things that somebody mentions, and I'll be like, oh my god, absolutely, 100%. I remember that. I saw that. Blah blah blah, all that good stuff. So, to be fair, I'm going to pre-warn you. A lot of these are, I don't want to say a lot, but a good chunk of these, I should say, are going to be related to the Green Bay Packers. Surprising, I think not. So, you know, it's just the way it is. I saw every single Packer game this year, so a lot to remember. But I'll keep it to a minimum. I'll keep the fandom to a minimum. But we're definitely going to start out with arguably, if you were a Packer fan and you were watching this game ended on the highest of highs in a long freaking time, and it was absolutely punctuated, perfectly punctuated with this beautiful snapshot right here. Look at this. Oh my god! I wish I could frame this in the back. And I'm not talking about I'm not even talking about like a picture or a painting like this big. This is a big painting. This thing is like it's a 7x7. I wish I had this. I wish this was my entire wall. That's what I wish. I wish I could get a professional to paint this entire thing like a mural in the back right here. This was, and also if you did not see this play, man, look it up. The way Micah just basically it looks like he was shot out of a cannon. It was like a big scrum there, obviously in the between the offensive line and the D line, as Goff was rolling out to his right. You just saw number one there just almost stumble out like he was about to he was getting basically pushed on stage, and then just sprinted after Goff like a freaking lion going after a gazelle, and then just full on leaps into the air and brings him down, dude. It was chef's kiss, man. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Steve, and I was surprised Steelers ranked last in the NFLPA. No wonder Mike left. Yeah, man. And I don't know, man. To me, I think this is a way for, and I think this is I don't think there's like a secret. But I think these rankings are kind of used as like slight leverage, like just a way of without making it sound like a complaint. There's like a little bit of leverage to be like, hey, these are the things that we want. I think one of the biggest complaints for the Packers was the training room, the trainers, like kind of like the dietitian, the food. Like obviously the injuries that the Packers have had for a while, and then on top of that was childcare. Like those were the 3 to 4 main things that were clearly were bothering players in Green Bay, and I think these are ways like this list right here, the NFLPA kind of ranking scorecards or whatever. They're kind of ways for players to be able to kind of tell teams, hey, these are the things that we're looking for. I don't know if it's a true indication of what the quality is, because even though Matt LaFleur was lower in the rankings that he was in the last couple of years, he was still very well. Like if you look at his other rankings, like him as a coach, him as a whatever it was, still pretty high up there. It was just one specific thing that I think it was respect, quote unquote, was low. And I think that has to do with probably a little bit of a dissatisfaction with maybe the way that some players are being used on offense. So, yeah. Steve, the big man, is flying. Yes, he was, man. He was just so dang dominant, dude. And then just to be able to cap it off, this was, I'm pretty sure it was on 4th down. and to be able to sack him, basically sealing the victory on defense. Week 1 in Lambeau, newest Packer, one of the biggest trades in NFL history, and the guy immediately makes an impact. Yeah, it was that like right there. If you were, you could look back at that reaction from myself, man. It was great. It was an incredible freaking game between those two teams, man. So that was fun. It was fun, and the Packers able to beat the Lions twice this year, able to sweep them, which they haven't done in a while. So yeah, man, that's definitely going to be a big highlight for me, man. Micah's sack against Jared Goff, just being able to chase him down, dude, it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Let me see here. Oh yeah. So this is the next one here. This is the next one. Um, so we got not one. Come on. Two. But three blocked field goals in a span of about, I think it was like close to 12 to 15 minutes between these plays that we're highlighting here. Like so many that I can literally not can't get my whole. I'm like trying to. There we go. But yeah, man. So this was not a great. This is one that involves the Packers, but not in a great way. This was all in week 3. It was the Green Bay Packers holding on to a late lead. They messed it up, trying to kick a game-winning field goal, and McManus's kick gets blocked in the final seconds there. This dropped the Packers to 2-1. It was their first loss of the year. It was one of many last-second special teams losses or mistakes that led to a loss for the Packers throughout the season. Then I'm pretty sure the next one that we saw was this one on the bottom here. This is Jordan, the big defensive tackle for the Eagles, able to block Cardi's kick there, the kicker for the Rams. And the big man, able to go 60 plus yards for the game-winning touchdown as time expired. Incredible play, man. One of the best plays. Like I've said it before, I mentioned it many times. We love a big man touchdown on the channel. And of course, I'm pretty sure Jordan gave us a big man spike as well. So that was phenomenal. And then just when you thought you're like, all right, this got to be done, right? With like 2 field goal kicks in the last couple of minutes. Come on. Nope. The Jets gave us another one. They also were able to bring that back for a touchdown with, I think it was like less than 90 seconds left in that game. And unlike the Browns and unlike the Eagles, who got blocked kicks and won the game, the Jets still somehow found a way to lose that freaking game against the Buccaneers, despite having a touchdown, a lead with a few seconds left. That was also the video where Aaron Glenn was like dancing like a madman, just kind of strutting down the field, and then a couple minutes later he was shaking his head in disbelief that his team let the Buccaneers just drive down the field for a game-winning touchdown with less than 2 minutes left. So yeah, like I said, all of those kicks happened within a span of about, I think it was like less than 10 minutes, maybe less than 15. It was an absolutely wild week 3. And the special teams units had a little bit of a rough month heading into October there. So I think these were in like late September. But yeah, man, it was freaking wild, man. So many blocked kicks early in the season, man. It ended up getting a little bit better. There was fewer blocking misassignments as the season went on, but we still had a few. Throughout the late part of the season. So, but yeah, absolutely nothing like week 3, man. So, yeah, unfortunately, the Packers on the wrong side of that, and I don't think I don't think they really had too many positives when it comes to special teams this season. So yeah. But Steve, what was some of your biggest highlights for you in 2025? If you're still there, Steve, let me know. Yeah, I'm gonna be running through these, but please do not hesitate. Give me your top one, top five, whatever it is. Let me know what when you think of the 2025 and then, oh biscuits. Hold up. Oh come on. What is going on here? Oh no. No. Testing, testing. All right, can you guys hear me? Hopefully, you guys are still there. Fun times, fun times. All right. Always fun, always fun. All right, let me see here. We should be live. Hopefully, hopefully. Come on, come on. All right, I see myself. Look at that. Jesus, man, you need a haircut, dog. Come on, get it together. Come on. All right. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. I don't know what was going on. OBS just died, and then what basically the frames were just dropping. It wasn't coming through at all. Yeah, what the heck? Interesting. All right. So we are back here. So let me know if you guys are in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me. I am gonna just talk. So hopefully you guys are back. Let me see here. Steve, I think it will be Chicago Bears and Matt performance with LA. I didn't expect them to be that good this season. Okay, that's fair. Absolutely, man. Yeah, Chicago. I mean, I think of all the teams in the NFL, I think they had the biggest surprise outside of maybe New England. Again, maybe New England will probably be the more surprising turnaround. But honestly, man, Chicago, just the way that they played down the stretch, man, and the way that they are built, they would be a team that's not. It wouldn't surprise me if in 2 or 3 years they are not only better than they are now, but consistently looking good, which I hate to say, but it looks like it might be true. So Dahlia, hey, just getting on, trying to buy a car. Adulting sucks. Holy cow! Right on. Okay, money bags. Jeez, bragging. But yeah, heck yeah, dude. All right, let me see here. There we go. All right, looks like we got two people watching right now. Let's go, let's go. Heck yeah, yeah. Sorry guys, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if you guys were fine, but like on my end, I was not getting anything. Nothing was coming through. Yeah, like OBS just kind of died on me, so able to restart it, and we should be back now. So let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me as well. From the looks of it, everything seems good on my end. Hopefully, so all right. Let me see here. All right, so where do we leave off? Um, so yeah, let me quickly just talk about the things that I was talking about before. Were the three blocked kicks there? Obviously, Green Bay struggling, dude. That was a big. That was probably one of the worst games I've seen Green Bay play in the second half. And unfortunately, they went a little. They kind of had a little bit of a slump. In a like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later after this game, and you saw those the offensive issues and the special teams issue kind of throughout the season for Green Bay. It was hilarious to see the Jets, especially Aaron Glenn, just very, very confidently strutting down the sidelines after the Jets able to return that uh, blocked kick for a touchdown, and then just a few seconds later end up losing the game by letting the the Buccaneers offense get into basically get a game-winning drive, and then once again, Jordan Davis with a nice big man touchdown there. Nice blocked kick by the Eagles against the Rams there. So that was pretty cool. Of course. So there's another one that involves Green Bay and another one that is not necessarily positive. But everybody, this game was being hyped up as soon, as soon as Micah Parsons was traded to Green Bay. And yes, I am talking about Week 4, the 40-40 tie between the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. This game was looking like it was going to be a dominant victory for the Packers. Through the first 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters, they were looking like clearly the better team. Better defense, clearly. And then the offense was on fire. The special teams was solid, not making any mistakes. And then the Cowboys in the second half looked like the better team, able to not only tie, but eventually I think they took the lead there for a second. And basically through the final, I think it was like the final 8 to 7 minutes of the fourth quarter and into overtime, there was no defense. It was just touchdown after touchdown, point after point, drive after drive. The defenses for both of these teams decided to just be like, you know what? I'm going to head home early. We're not going to really show up in the fourth quarter or in overtime. Like just the way I got a little bit of a cramp. I just can't. I just can't. You know. But yeah, man. Every single time the Packers scored a touchdown, the Cowboys responded, or the other way around. It was just point after point, and it was the narrative was who was right. Was Micah Parsons was he right in trying to get away from Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, or was Jerry right in trading away a guy that put up a lot of big numbers but was still not getting the Cowboys to win when it mattered? And everybody wanted to know. Even though this trade it's going to take at least 2 or 3 years before we truly know who won this one. But everybody wanted to be able to say, this person got it right, this guy got it wrong. And the Cowboys and the Packers said, nope, nobody is going to get what they want. And yeah, man, it was still to this day, man, the funniest thing I think this might have been the funniest game in the entire season. Even better than the 12-7 victory the Broncos had a couple weeks later. This was the funniest result that could have happened, because nobody, whether you're a Cowboys fan, a Packer fan, or just looking for chaos, nobody got what they wanted. It was awesome. Aaron Glenn dance was the only good thing about the Jets. This very true. I got to give it to Aaron Glenn. He's got some moves. Steve, Dallas Cowboys. Let's go, let's go. The game that people forget there is a defense in the team. Yep. 100%. 100%. Yeah, man. I think, like there's another one where you could probably look at the final like 10 minutes of the video of my live reaction, and it was basically the consensus. Nobody was happy with this result. Like if the Cowboys would have won, it would have been hilarious. Like even if you still think that Jerry Jones was foolish for trading away arguably one of the best defensive players in of the last 10 years, you still, it would have been hilarious because it would have been such a Green Bay Packer thing to do to lose this game to Jerry Jones. And then on top of that, if the Cowboys would have lost, everybody would have been like, see, Jerry doesn't know this or that, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that it ended in a tie and went into overtime, and it was just like, this game lasted forever too. Like, this was not one of those like overtime games where like, all right, it's, it was 11. I think by the time this game ended, it was nearly midnight Central Time. So if you were watching this Eastern Time or on the West Coast, man, you were up late. Sorry, Eastern Time. You were up late. Very, very late to watch this game. And yeah, man, it was just this was the perfect. This is the only way this game should have or could have ended, because this is what we all deserved. The amount of fluff that we talked about, how important the Jerry Jones, this or that, like, it was just a bunch of BS that everybody was talking about. Packer fans, Cowboys fans, the media, everybody had an opinion of this game if you were a football fan, and we shouldn't have. We should not have cared. Neither of these teams had anything to do with each other. They were not division rivals. The Cowboys were not necessarily Super Bowl contenders coming into this game or in this season. But everybody wanted something out of this game, and we got nothing. This was like the end of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Willy Wonka is telling us, well, you get nothing. Good day, sir. This is basically this game right there. So, besides New York Giants, this was the funniest thing this season. 100%. 100%. But yeah, man. As much as I would have loved for the Packers to win, because I also, on top of that, I had to write that stupid extra one every single time I had a Packers or a Cowboys game. And guess what? We do every Packer game, and the Cowboys get a lot of primetime games. So there was a lot of extra ones there, -1, at the end of those scoreboards that I had to create. So, yeah, that was the other thing, too. That was the one thing that I disliked about this game. That was the only thing I disliked about this game. This was hilarious, the 40-40 tie. But that fact that I had to add a -1 every single freaking week, dang it. That was annoying. But yeah, man, this was so hilarious. This is going to be something I remember every single time I think of the 2025 season. So, boom, boom, boom. Let me see here. Next. Oh, there we go. Yes. This one, sorry, David Stegosaurus. My apologies, my man, but I do have to bring up this Monday night matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. So this game, outside of it being kind of a little bit of a back and forth, this game gave us everything you could want. Some good defensive plays. We had a pick six, a 99-yard pick six. I believe it was by Devin Lloyd. I think it was. Let me see here. Yeah, Devin Lloyd picks off Mahomes, 99 yards. So yeah, that was a big play. And at the end of it, the Jaguars had a chance to win the game, and it looked like they had just messed it up, man. Trevor Lawrence gets stepped on or trips over one of his offensive linemen's leg, falls down, tries to get up, slips again, tries to get up, slips again, literally slipped and fell 3 times during that play. Somehow was not touched down or brought down by any player on the Chiefs side. And if you look at number 99 there, that is all pro defensive end, defensive tackle, whatever you want to call him, defensive lineman. The Kansas City Chiefs, one of the most disruptive players, Chris Jones. In that play, he barely tries. If he tries to get to Trevor Lawrence in that game, or in this play, he probably gets to him, even if he just is able to get a clip of, get a calf, get a toe or whatever. It's going to be down by contact. But because Chris Jones basically took that play off, that gave Lawrence time to get up, slip, get up, slip, get up, and then roll to his left and get into the end zone for a game-winning touchdown at the very last second. It was a great last-second Monday night game. And on top of that, it was also one of the best performing games on the channel. I think it might have been. I think we had like 1,400 people or views coming through, and I think at one point we had like 30 plus people at one time watching at the same time. So that was really cool. That was really awesome. That was like one of the biggest videos on the channel in terms of viewership. The chat was popping off. It was great, man. It was awesome. It was phenomenal. So that's also a game I will remember when I think of this season. So that was really awesome. Yeah. Dang, Monday night was just popping off this year. So here's another. It was actually the very next week. This was week 6. The last game, Chiefs Jaguars, week 5. Week 6, Monday night, also was an absolute banger, man. And this involved the Washington Commanders at home hosting the Chicago Bears. And the reason I bring this up is I was hyped for this game, not only because the Commanders obviously were we still didn't know that they were going to have one of the worst seasons in their recent history. Um, but these two teams also gave us a show on Monday night in 2024. That was the Hail Mary throw by Jaden Daniels that beat the Chicago Bears. I think Chicago had a 13 to 14 point lead in 2024 coming into the fourth quarter. I think it was like the final like 8 to 9 minutes. And then Jaden Daniels and the Commanders rookie season able to get them in a position to be able to win the game. It was once again a Hail Mary attempt by Jaden Daniels, and they were able to get it to win that game. So coming into this one, the Bears were looking kind of okay. They had a couple bad games. Week 1 was a big one for them that they lost to the J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings despite being up big in the fourth quarter. But the Chicago Bears were looking good. They were looking explosive on offense. Their defense was taking the ball away, which they ended up doing throughout the entire season. But yeah, this was two second-year players that were with a little bit of hype, with a lot of hype, I should say. Both of them coming into this year, and they did not disappoint, man. It was a 25-24 victory for the Chicago Bears. This time, they came back in the fourth quarter to beat the Commanders and Jaden Daniels, man. And once again, man, I hope these two teams face each other every single year, man, because the last two, their first two matchups, 2024, 2025, had been absolutely incredible, man. Hail Marys, last second touchdowns. It's been incredible, man. So hopefully Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams can keep on giving us show after show when they go up against each other. Right now they're 1-1, man, 1-1. So let's see who can take the lead the next time they face off. Steve, Jacksonville's best game this season. It might have been, dude. I know they won bigger, like in terms of like having a bigger margin of victory. I think they had like a 30-point victory at some point in the season. It might have been against the Carolina Panthers, maybe. But damn, dude, that game against the Kansas City Chiefs, man, that's when the Chiefs were still really putting on, like they were still kind of, they were starting to get back to it, man. The Chiefs during this time were on a little bit of a winning streak. I think they had won 3 consecutive games, maybe 4. And yeah, they were looking good. They were looking like a team that was on the rise. They were getting back to what they looked like over the last 9 years. But Jacksonville, man, able to get it done at the end. So. Best game for Washington besides Denver's game this season, 100%. Very, very true. Yeah, man. Parker! Hey, how you doing, dude? How you doing? How you doing? How's your week been? Let me know. Let me know. All right. All right. Let's see here. So the order is going to be a little bit mixed up here after this point, but we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going, man. So this is still week 6. I think this was the Sunday night game. So we just got done talking about the Monday night game. Sunday night was also an incredible freaking game. Not only am I talking about the game that ended up being a great come from behind victory for the Giants, beating the, at the time, defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, but it also introduced us to one of the more, I was going to say polarizing, but I think the consensus is he's awesome. But one of the more interesting characters that we got to discover in the 2025 season, and that is running back out of Arizona State, Cam Scatterboo, who, when you look at the stats, it was not an incredible game in terms of numbers. Like, he didn't go over 200 yards, 19 carries, 98 yards, basically averaging about 5 yards per carry. 2 catches, only 12 yards, but 3 touchdowns, and it was massive, man. Helping the Giants absolutely steamroll the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they won 34-17 in that game, and he was a big reason why they won. And Cam was looking like the next big rookie running back, man. Unfortunately, I think it was a month later, maybe 5 weeks later, against the second time they would go up against the Eagles, he ended up with that nasty broken ankle injury there. So unfortunately, it was a short lived. But dude, the 4 to 5 weeks we had with Cam Scatterboo, absolutely freaking wild, man. This guy was bare chested on a post game interview on Thursday night. This guy, at one point, when they were checking in on, oh my God, I'm trying to think of the rookie quarterback for the Giants. My gosh, can't think of his name anymore. Jackson Dart. My goodness, I was like Jackson. I was like, no, maybe. But anyway, when Jackson Dart had to go into the blue tent for to get evaluated for a concussion, Cam, without hesitation, just unzipped that bad boy, went in there just to check on his guy. He's like, is he okay? He's like, Cam was basically like, excuse me, doctor, I'm going to clear him myself, all right? So what is, and he was like, Jackson, what is 2 + 2? And Jackson was like 5. He's like, you know what? That's right. Let's go. Let's get out there. Come on. But yeah, man, Cam Scatterboo was absolutely freaking hilarious, man. One of my favorite players, man. Unfortunately, he didn't, once again, got injured pretty quickly, but incredible season. Hopefully he can have another. Hopefully he can get better and healthier in 2026. Because I think the NFL is a lot better when Cam Scatterboo is on the field. So, but yeah, man, Cam Scatterboo. I will be thinking about him in the 2025 season, man. Let's freaking go. The Giants also, when he was healthy, man, they had some good wins. Then they beat the Giants. They beat the Eagles that week, and then the next week in Week 7, they went up against the Denver Broncos, and they beat them 33-32, overcoming a 19-point deficit in the second half there. So, really freaking good game, man. It was so freaking fun. Actually, no, I got that mixed up. Sorry, the Broncos beat the Giants the next week, despite the Giants leading big in the second half. So, sorry, my bad. But yeah, man. But it was looking good for the Giants, man. It was looking good for the Giants for the first half there, man, because they were looking like a team that could be potentially taking that next step into the playoffs. They could have been they were looking like what the Chicago Bears ended up being. And but unfortunately, the injuries for the Giants that upswing ended up just kind of falling right back down to earth. So New York shows us some talent this season. Dart and Cam Scatterboo, 100%. Yeah, both of those guys, man, were big reasons why the Giants were competitive for most of the season, especially in that middle part. But injuries were a big factor in both of these guys' rookie seasons. I think Jackson Dart was evaluated twice or 3 times for a concussion. Ended up missing some time because of the second and potentially third injuries that he picked up. And then obviously Scadaboo with that nasty ankle injury that took him out for the rest of the season. So Malik Neighbors was also hurt there too. Man, there was just a lot of injuries for the Giants offensively. So hopefully they can stay healthy and they can kind of they can give us a show next this coming season, man, because they seem like they can be an exciting team to watch. So yeah, definitely wanted to highlight Cam Scadaboo in that 2 to 3 week window where the Giants looked like a team that could be maybe able to sneak into the playoffs. So. Oh yes, absolutely. This one was a personal favorite of mine. This was obviously another one that the NFL could not wait to show people. Man, I think this game was kind of right up there with the Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones. I think it was definitely below that, maybe a rung or two below that. But this game had a lot of people wanting to watch this one. And yes, I am talking about the Packers against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, two historic franchises. I'm trying to think here. 10 Super Bowl victories, 10 Lombardi trophies between these two franchises. 4 for the Packers, 6 for the Steelers. And on top of that, it is obviously Aaron Rodgers going up against the team that drafted him, that he spent over 18 seasons not only being the playing quarterback for them, but also I think it was 17 years being their starting quarterback. Aaron Rodgers was is still the longest tenured Green Bay Packer player in franchise history. Spent over basically, I think it was a total of 18 or 19 seasons. Was drafted in 2005 and was there up until about the 2022 season, through the 2022 season. So yeah, man. Won a Super Bowl with the Packers against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and also was a teammate of Jordan Love. There was the quarterback starting quarterback for the Packers for the first 3 seasons of Jordan Love's career in Green Bay. Jordan obviously took over for for Aaron Rodgers there, and this was the first matchup between them. But on top of that, this was Rodgers' chance to be one of 5 quarterbacks, potentially 5 quarterbacks, to be able to beat every single team in the NFL. Brett Favre did it. Peyton Manning did it. Tom Brady did it. And I think Drew Brees also beat all 32 teams in the NFL. Rodgers had beaten all 31. The only team that he had yet to beat was the Green Bay Packers. This was going to be his first and potentially only chance to beat the Green Bay Packers, and did not happen, man. Jordan Love, it was looking good for the Steelers in the first half. They were up 16-7. Packers could not move the dang ball at all in that first half. They were looking horrendous. It was looking like it was going to be a big victory for the Steelers there. Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to claim that historic victory, number 32 in the NFL. And instead, Jordan Love putting on arguably one of the greatest performances of his very young career. Able to score 3 touchdowns, no picks, over 300 yards, was efficient as ever. I think at one point he tied or broke the Packers' record for the most consecutive completions by a quarterback, and ended up beating the Steelers there pretty handily. So that was a big one there. That was a fun one to watch. So yeah. We'll see if Rodgers comes back and maybe gets a second crack to beat the Packers. Otherwise, this might be the only chance he would have had to beat all 32 teams in the NFL. So, yeah. Also, during this game, I forgot, Rodgers said that it was one of the only times that he has had to actually use a silent count at home. Not only as a Steeler, but also as a player for any team. He's like, yeah, Green Bay Packer fans. He's like, I know this, but I just learned. I saw it for myself today. They travel well, so yeah, had to use a silent count at home in over there in Pittsburgh. So that was pretty cool. the Super Bowl final that people wanted for the story behind. 100%, man. Dude, imagine Rodgers, Green Bay Packer, 26 years old, 27, whatever it was. I think it might have been 27 when they won the Super Bowl. Beating the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then fast forward to 15 years later, Aaron Rodgers, potentially the final season of his career, now a Pittsburgh Steeler going up against Jordan Love, the successor, at the same age that he was when he beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 45. Imagine if these two teams would have been able to get to that level, that Super Bowl, man. It would have been awesome. It would have been a great storyline. But unfortunately, the Packers and the Steelers were not good enough to get past the wild card. Yeah, both lost pretty handily. Even though it was a close game relatively for the Packers and the Chicago Bears. I mean, the Chicago Bears they dominated in the fourth quarter there. I think they scored 27 points in that fourth quarter. That was horrendous. And then the Steelers just got absolutely trounced by the Texans defense. So, not great. Not great. I think in that game against the Texans in the wild card, I think the Texans defense scored 2 touchdowns. I think it was a fumble recovered for a touchdown, a scoop and score, and then the pick 6 that ended up being Rodgers' last throw, potentially as a Pittsburgh Steeler, but also potentially as a NFL player if he decides to retire. So, yeah. Let me see here. Oh, what the heck? Sorry, one of my tabs closed, of course. So, one moment, please. One moment. Where the heck are you? And Steve, any other moments that you can think of for yourself? You kind of like when you think of the 2025 NFL season. What's another thing that kind of pops off in your mind there? So I got one here for myself. I'm just trying to bring it back up here because of course tabs are just closing down right now. And Rodgers' last play was a pick 6, if I'm not wrong, and that'll way to end a legend career. Yeah, it's very very true, man. And like, of course, it happens to the guy that is like the one thing. If you like, outside of being just a great player, one of the best of all time to play the position, um, the guy just never threw picks. Barely threw interceptions, let alone pick 6s in his career. Obviously, the lowest career interception percentage and touchdown interception ratio. Like, the one thing you know about Rodgers is he does not turn the ball over, and he barely throws pick 6s. And for the final play of his NFL career, potentially, we'll see if he retires, for it to potentially be not only an interception but a pick 6 would absolutely be wild. I feel like if he decides not to retire and just decides one more season, I do feel like that play is going to be it's not going to be the main reason. It may not even be in the top 3, top 5 reasons, but it's going to be a reason. He's going to be like, there's no way in hell that I'm going to go out on that kind of note. Even if it's a small part of him, it's going to be a little bit, you know. So there we go. Jeez. Yeah, sorry about this, guys. Like I had everything prepared. There's like one or two things that I still needed to kind of situate, but when I had to restart the system, there's a couple images that did not stay there, so now I have to kind of re-import them a little bit. So sorry about that. But of course. But having said that, this is also another game that when I think of the season, it's gonna be the game that I think about. Um, Bam, there it is. Look at that, beautiful. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Week 7. Yes, this was the old man fight game. It was the old man Aaron Rodgers going up against the old man Joe Flacco. The two oldest quarterbacks before Philip Rivers came back into the league. Philip wouldn't be playing for the Colts for another 5 to 6 weeks, I think, maybe another 7 weeks actually. But yeah, man, um, this was a game between two quarterbacks that were well in their 40s. It was the Ben Gay game. You gotta cover that. Gotta get the elbows. Make sure that you don't get that tinnitus in the old elbow when you're throwing that ball. 8 to 12 yards. You gotta make sure that you have plenty of butterscotch on the sidelines for the older guys because as you get older, it's kind of tough to drink and eat the regular food for these older guys. So you have to get the butterscotch. It's their favorite. Got to get that candy, that has like the really loud wrapper, that comes in the gold tinfoil almost. Yeah, you got to get that going. You're loco. How's it going? Welcome. I remember this game. Flacco had wheels on this one. He was running. Yes, he was, sir. Yes, he was. And of course, the Steelers were looking good. They're like, yeah, we're going to win this game. We got it. And then in the second half, man, the Cincinnati Bengals turned it on and they ended up winning 33-31. And then, I think this was one of the only wins that the Bengals had with Joe Flacco. It might have been the only win that they had with Joe Flacco. But yeah, Joe finished the game with 342 yards. Jamar Chase had 161 of those. And Flacco finished with not one, not two, but 3 touchdowns, baby. Dave, A.J. Brown may be coming back home to Philly cheesesteak. Oh, really? Captain, also, welcome, my man. Welcome. Really? Oh, I'm surprised. I mean, I was going to say I'm surprised. I am slightly surprised because I was pretty sure that he would want to least the Eagles were kind of done with him. But okay, all right, all right. AJ Brown might be coming back. But yeah, what did Joe? Yeah, he finished 3 touchdowns, 342 yards, 31 to 47. Rodgers, 249, 4 touchdowns, but also threw 2 interceptions. Oh yeah, this was the game. Was that the I think this was who the hell picked him off? Wasn't this the game where he threw the interception to the rookie? Let me see here. Oh no, okay. So it was DJ Turner and Jordan Battle. Gotcha. Those guys picked him off. Yeah, that was hilarious. Now the Bengals versus Bills versus Bengals game was cinema. Allen and Burrow were letting defense. I know, man. And the worst thing, I had a chance to watch that game. I could have watched it, but I chose the other game because I thought it would be a better game, and it ended up not being a better game at all. It was one of the worst games that we had. What week was that? I completely flubbed that decision there. That was probably the 1 week. Here it is. So it looks like it was week 13 or 14. Might have been 14. Yeah. Let me see here. But yeah, that was also a great freaking game, man. I watched the highlights of that one. Did not get a chance to watch the whole game. But yeah, oh my gosh. Heck of a game. Heck of a game. Yeah, so week 14, December 7th, Buffalo, Cincinnati. Oh, Jesus, yeah. What was the game that we saw? I'm trying to think here. Oh, okay. I think I ended up. I think we ended up, or I should say, I ended up streaming. I think I ended up doing Indianapolis and the Jacksonville Jags, and that was a blowout win for the Jags. They won 36-19. So yeah, it wasn't a close game. And the reason I wanted to do that game is we had yet to do a Colts game. So I was like, oh, this is my best chance. Both of these teams are playing great, and yeah, ended up being a pretty bad game. Oh my god, dude. Yep, and that was a back and forth game, man, between Cincy and Buffalo, man. That was just back and forth, back and forth. Two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks just saying screw it. Both of our defenses can't stop us, and we're just gonna start chucking the ball down the field. Yeah, that was a good game. Buffalo won 39-34. Because wasn't Cincinnati, they were up big late in that game. See here. So yeah, the score was at 1 point. So with less than 8 minutes left, the score was 28-18. Cincinnati had the ball, I think, also. And then Buffalo able to basically outscore them 21-6 the rest of the way in the final 7 minutes. That is absolutely insane. Oh man. And I think it was the chat. You guys are in the chat were like keeping me updated. They're like, oh yeah, the score is 28-18. It's like 7 minutes left. It's gonna be over. I was like, oh okay, blah blah blah. And then a couple minutes later, like, oh hey, the Bills are up 32-28. I'm like, what? Excuse me? And there's still like 4 minutes left or something. Or at 1 point the Buffalo was up 39-28. That's what somebody told me. Yeah, that was a freaking wild game. Unbelievable. Let me see here. Dave, do you have the Bills game in your highlights tonight? Um, Actually, no, I did not. But the only reason I didn't do that is because I didn't watch that game. But I do have a Bills game to talk about, though. That was one of the highlights of the year. I guess it was 14. You did KC versus Texans. KC versus Texans. That was a Sunday night, but for the early games, I ended up choosing Indianapolis, Jacksonville. That's why we didn't get to do Cincinnati versus Buffalo. That's why. Week 14 is what the week was. There you go. Thank you. You're local. I appreciate you, buddy. During the divisional round, you said the Bills had a heck of an improvement at Jags. Had a heck of an improvement. All right, Captain, run that by me one more time, my man. Not sure exactly what you might be talking about, but the Bills' defense it struggled, man. It was a struggle for most of the season, but over the last month they were not great. Steve, week 14, we had the worst game this season, Las Vegas versus Denver. I wonder who watched that game. That was a weird one because luckily I get to watch the Packers and Chicago game. That's why that was the game that we did in the late afternoon. Green Bay won that one. It would be the only time that Green Bay would beat Chicago or in their 3 matchups. Disappointing. Your local, I thought we lost, but then Benford got a pick 6. There we go. Then Allen ran a 40-yard touchdown, making us go up big to 32-28. Yeah, man. Heck yeah. Do you like Elton John? I do. Like one of my favorite songs growing up as a kid was I forget what was it in the I'm trying to think of the dang name of the song now. Can you feel the love tonight? That was because that was a big. I liked the Lion King a lot as a kid. That was my favorite. Still is actually, arguably my favorite cartoon movie. It's one of those where you can put it on and I'm gonna watch it. But Elton John was literally all over that. The score, the music was mostly, almost exclusively Elton John. Can you feel the love tonight? So yeah, Parker Curry. Yes, I am a fan of Elton John. Not a huge fan. I don't know all of his discography, but I mean, I have yet to hear an Elton John song that I don't like. So I'll leave it at that way. Captain, you said at Jags in divisional round, the Buffalo Bills had a heck of an improvement at the end. I'm trying to remember. If I did, I think I was talking about them offensively. I think they might have gotten better as the game went on because they ended up beating the Jags in that game. Even though the Jags looked early on, they looked like they were going to win because their defense was making some big plays. The offense for a little bit there was keeping the ball away from the Bills defense, but unfortunately for the Jags, man, Trevor Lawrence's propensity for turnovers kind of reared its ugly head again. But yes, the Bills did play a lot better, especially in the second half against the Jags in that wild card game. Do you like George Michael? I will say I think I do. I can't name a single song right off the top of my head, but I know I've heard. I know I've heard like a handful of songs. Like I said, pretty good. Because George Michael, he's the guy with granted they all had this during the '80s, but he's the guy with like the big hair, right? Like big '80s hair. He even had that even into the '90s a little bit. Because he was it was him and somebody else. Like they had like a band or like a duo in like the late '70s and through the '80s, right? And then he became a solo act the rest of the way. Yeah. I hope I got that right because otherwise I might be thinking of somebody else. But yeah. But yeah, let me know like one or two George Michael songs. Give me. Remember my rant about Brandon Cook's catch? I'm not over it still. Damn it! I looked back at it and now I see why it was ruled a pick. Still, curse you, refs. Curse you. Yeah, like I said, man, it could have been. Like I think if it would have gone either way, I don't think there would have been too much of an issue. Like if it would have called that incomplete or it was a catch for the Bills, I think people would have been like, it was kind of on the borderline. But yeah, yeah, it was close, man. It was dang close. But those dang referees, man. Do you like Taylor Swift? I don't dislike her. Like I don't have like there's like a weird set of people that like really don't like her at all. Like don't like her personally. I was like I don't know anybody famous. I don't know anybody famous, but I don't know any like famous person well enough to be like, yes, I hate this person. But yeah, I don't. Taylor Swift was never my jam. Her music, but yeah, so I don't think so. Yeah, but hats off to her, man. She's made a. She seems like she does some good charity work, and there seems to be a lot of people that like her. So, hats off, man. If you get enjoyment out of music, man, have at it, man. Two of Jordan Michaels' songs I remember off the top of my head are "Faith" and "Careless Whisper." See, I'd know "Careless Whisper." I would have not have known. I would have been. I would have been like, it was like somebody's song in the '80s. But "Careless Whisper." There we go. Yep. Let me see here. What's another? So I talked about Ellen John with The Lion King, but another movie soundtrack that I grew up with, man, that's still, oh my god, dude, it still hits, is Phil Collins's Tarzan. Yeah, and I know I'm talking about Disney stuff, but when it's good, man, it's good. Don't hate the person, but her music sucks. Kind of right there with you. Don't get me wrong. There's like obviously her songs are all over the radio. Like her earlier stuff like would get stuck in my head. It would replay often. I remember I worked a job where they only played a specific radio station, and that radio station had I think four Taylor Swift songs, and let's just say that they did not have much else outside of that. Like I'm pretty sure they had like 20 to maybe 15 songs. And when you're working an 8-hour shift and the average song is maybe 2.5 minutes, yeah, I got sick of Taylor Swift's song music pretty quickly. But it's not for me. But you know what? Shout out to her, man. Do your thing. Do your thing. Do you like Billie Eilish? I do. I remember. I think it was her first like big album. Something about like nightmares or what we do in the dark or whatever. I remember listening to that one. I was like, holy crap! I was like, this is actually pretty good. Haven't really listened to much of her other stuff in recent times, but yeah. Father Figure, Freedom 90s are others. They're all good. Like I said, yeah. I don't think I've heard a George Michael song that I did not like. Once again, that I think is George Michael. Michaels. But yeah. Yeah. Do you like Justin Bieber? He was never like when he was coming up. I was like already like high school, college, stuff like that. So it was never for me. I haven't really listened to any of his newer stuff. Apparently, it's some of it's pretty good, some of his newer stuff, but yeah, no. So, like I said, similar to Taylor Swift, wasn't my jam, but you know, if people like it, man, that's good. The one you're thinking about is correct. There we go. Yes, let's go. Yeah, I went through. I'm trying to think here. Like, what was my music taste as I was kind of growing up here? We completely deviated from football at this point, but that's okay. Um, Growing up as a kid, I was definitely more of a rock and hip hop fan. Like I grew up with like um, Biggie Smalls, Tupac Shakur, uh, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. Like that was just like what my older sibling, specifically my brothers, were listening to. Um, and then I grew up with like Celine Dion because of my older sibling, my older sisters. Um, then I kind of got into like a little bit of like the emo stuff in the early 2000s. I feel like My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, things like that. But then as I got older, I started to grow my own personal taste. Um, get into like the grunge era of rock and a little bit of I guess you could call it stadium rock and roll, which was like more of like I didn't want to say stadium rock and roll, but like more like Corn, you know, Linkin Park a little bit, stuff like that. Do you like Jelly Roll? I have not really. I don't think I've listened to a Jelly Roll song. I might have. So yeah, might be something I have to dive into. I can't say yes or no. Was George Michael in a band with Mary J. Blige? I don't know. They might have done a song together, but I don't know if they were in a band. Toby Keith. No, I usually like older kind of country. Like I like Johnny Cash. I like Dolly Parton. Um, I'm trying to think of his name now. David Allen Coe was another one that I got into a little bit for like during like the like high school college years. Um, like old school country. I'm usually not a big fan of like the this is actually going to be sounding like a Bo Burnham skit, but like a I got my tractor and my beer and like it's like I'm on my porch, like that kind of music where it's like I was like I don't know, Doug. I'm pretty sure you have a private plane. So, but yeah, I don't know. I can't say yes or no with Toby Keith because I don't know if I've specifically have heard music from him, but Michael was never in a band with Blige, but they did a duet for a 1999 cover of Stevie Wonder as. That's another one too, man. Stevie Wonder, man. As I've gotten older, dude. As I've gotten older, man, um, I've learned I've learned to appreciate Stevie a lot more. Not only for his influence on like hip hop and other artists throughout, like obviously through the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up until now, but definitely because of like his music itself. Like I remember like Gangster's Paradise, which was like one of the biggest songs of like the 90s. I think it was like the mid to late 90s. I did not know that was a cover until I was a little bit older, until like I was in my teens. And I remember listening to um, Paradise by Stevie Wonder, the original song that was sampled from it. And I remember I was like, oh, it's not as cool, man. It's not as good as Gangster's Paradise or whatever. But as I've gotten older, man, Steve, like his music, man, his voice, the sound of it, man, it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's because I've gotten older or my taste in music has been able to kind of sample other things. The guy is just incredible, man. Incredible, incredible music. Do you like Barry White? I think I do. I'm pretty sure I've heard more than a handful of Barry White songs, and I think yeah, it's been good. Willie Nelson is another guy that I remember. Yeah, Willie Nelson's music as well. I forgot to mention him. An absolute legend. Can't believe I almost forgot to freaking talk about Willie, man. Or am I thinking of Barry Manilow? Barry White, Barry Manilow. Hmm. To be honest, back then I was not a fan of Eminem's music, but now I still am not a fan. Was that a? Oh man, that is Stevie. You had me going there, man. I don't know why I called you Steve. That was awesome, man. That was Oh man, dude, what the heck's his name? Hold on. That sounded like a Mitch Hedberg joke there. Mitch Hedberg had a joke. I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. But yeah, I was not a fan of Eminem's music, but now I still am not a fan. That was beautiful, beautiful joke, my man. Your local, a lot of rappers and singers in general have a wide variety of haters and fans. It's just how the world is. Can't make people change, you know. Very true, very true. And I think that's it's a good thing because I think, and not to get pedantic about it, but I think any kind of art, if it becomes so accepted by everybody, if there's like no critics, did you really do anything? Did you do anything that was interesting? Did you do anything that was a little bit weird, or did you challenge anything? I think if it's like when it specifically when it comes to music or movies or even like just art in general, if it's just simply like, yeah, it's fine. Like I was like, eh. So yeah. Plus, I think it makes it very specific to it. I think it makes it more meaningful when you do enjoy a piece of music, like truly enjoy it. I think it makes it more meaningful when maybe you're one of maybe only 20 to 40% of the world that enjoys it. Easy E, let's go. His music is so good. Easy E, man. Yeah, man. Oh, that was another. I remember doing a presentation about NWA. Um, Obviously, I could not actually say the name of the of the rap group, but you know, yeah, man. R.I.P. Man. R.I.P. Absolute legend. He really felt like he was one of the like the true. Oh God, I'm trying to. And I'm not a musical historian by any means, so I'm not going to pretend like I know a ton. But I felt like when he passed away, unfortunately, when he died, there was like a little bit of a people still talk about his lyricism, his influence on younger generations of hip hop artists, man. So yeah, and he was a guy that like was willing to put people up, man. Like, kind of, he was one of those guys that when he was able to climb the ladder, he did not pull it up behind him. Let's just say that. I would rather watch John Cena rap more than him. Hey man, word life. You know, you got that thugonomics, man. Yeah, I was also a fan of John Cena during that era as well. Not specifically because he was doing the hip hop thing, but it was more of just like I was like, oh, John Cena, he's pretty cool. He's a cool guy. To be fair, think I was like 10 or 12, 10, maybe, yeah, 10 or 12 when when he was kind of starting up. Real Laughing Gang says yes, that is how it's spelled. And the title is my favorite song from him. There we go. There we go, man. Heck yeah. Easy E, man. Oh yeah, right here. There you go. Hey, you gotta have that pH, man. You gotta make it. You gotta make it family friendly, right? Able to circumvent, maybe the some ratings here and there. Maybe I slipped it past. Do you like Prince? Absolutely, man. I still maintain that Prince's halftime show in, I think it was Super Bowl 42, 43. It was the Bears and the Colts. Still the greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time. Still. Purple rain, purple rain. Sorry. Obviously, I'm not doing Prince's voice any favors with my singings, but yeah. I believe it was a diss track. Andre would make sense, man. Diss tracks, especially like the 80s hip hop didn't have too much, like in terms of like diss tracks or battles. But once you get into the 90s, man, the 90s music in general just had a little bit of an edge to it. Just a little bit of an edge to it. Not just hip hop. But yeah, man. But yeah, diss tracks during the 90s, early 2000s were big. Then they kind of cooled down in the late 2000s. Sorry, and the late 2000s and then early 2010s wasn't so much. And then they started getting big again, like around 2016. Eminem, Machine Gun Kelly, Drake, Kendrick, all those guys. They had their little feuds, but there was definitely more of an edge in the 90s. There we go. Do you like Michael? Of course. His music. I'll say that. Mike as a person, I have no idea. There's a case, sometimes a literal court case, and sometimes just a regular case. Maybe I don't know. A little bit of a weird guy. Obviously going through some stuff, especially when you're famous at the age of like 5 years old in the 60s and 70s. Might have seen and done some stuff that you probably shouldn't have at that age. But in terms of music, I mean, dude, like the discography of Michael Jackson, man, is I think you could put that up there with just about anybody. And there's very few artists that could match Mike for song. Yeah, man. Mike is definitely in the pantheon of one of the greatest artists of all time, musical artists of all time. I've seen these 2000s rappers that have passed away. It's mostly caused by gunshots. It's kind of scary how people can get that jealous of someone else's fame and do so. I know, dude. It's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. It's like, come on, man. Just relax, okay, dog? Relax. Have a drink. Relax. You know. Goose Fraba, man. Just let it go. Just let it go. It's all right. But yeah, man. It's wild, man. I never understood being physically like, or just being that angry at somebody to cause death. I was like, all right, man. Talk some trash. It's a freedom of speech, man. You got, come on, be creative. Get a good your mama joke. Those are always killer. All right, not literally, but you know. Speaking of Prince, do you like any of his, all of his? Do you like any of his music? All I remember is his clothes. I do. I mean, I think Purple Rain is obviously. I think it's a classic for a reason. Let me see here. I'm trying to think. Oh my god, dude! It always happens. I have like 3 or 4 Prince songs that I know off the top of my head, but because I get nervous, mine goes blank. So I am gonna look up some songs. So that way, I don't want you guys to pretend like I'm not trying to look them up because I am. Purple Rain, once again, that halftime show, dude, phenomenal, phenomenal. Uh, Party like it's 1999. When Doves Cry, a little bit of a slow one for me. I'm not a huge fan. I like when Prince has a little bit of a little bit of little bit of a rhythm, a little bit more of like trying to think what does he use? Like it's a lot of like a little bit of percussion, a little percussion. I don't mind it when he uses strings, but he's very slow. His music when he uses strings is very slow. Have you ever heard? Let me see here. Do you like Elvis Presley? Yeah, I think Elvis had like an incredible voice, man. Like I know he gets a lot of crap for um, kind of taking from lesser known black artists at the time. Um, but he was well liked, man. Like even with those artists, like he was able to kind of popularize that kind of music that unfortunately radio stations, executives, and just people in general were unwilling to want to listen because the person that was singing it was not of the same skin tone. And they're like, oh, this person is singing. Okay. But when Elvis did it, even though it was basically the same sound, same kind of feel to it, it was more accepted. And I feel like it opened up some doors to some of those other artists. But yeah, he definitely did take a lot from previous artists. But I don't know if it was ever malicious. I don't think. But yeah, Elvis himself, man, like his voice was very underrated. I think people remember him as like a towards the late part of his career, man, but early on, man, very good. Not a good actor. Not a good actor. Even though he was in a lot of movies, not a good actor. Do you have you heard of Juice World? I have, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you recommend a song by Juice World. Can't go wrong with some Eddie Murphy. I mean, Delirious, Raw. I mean, those are I think the only two that he ever had. Honestly, man, I know he would probably never do it again potentially. But if Eddie ever wanted to do another an hour special, comedy special, man, I think it would be one of the biggest ones of all time. I don't know if he would be good, but it would be like there would be a lot of people that'd be willing to watch him. But yeah, man, I grew up with like Eddie Murphy when not only with his movies like Nutty Professor, Hercules, um, but like even his lesser known movies like I Spy with like Owen Wilson, which was not a good movie, but I did like it as a kid. Um, I think the scene that kind of lives rent free in my brain from that really bad movie is when he's I think he has an ear Owen Wilson has an earpiece and Eddie is trying to feed him lines to get I think it was like an actor like the femme fatale to like him and like he's Eddie is just like he's basically just singing like a 70s or 80s like R&B slash like love song and the scene is so freaking funny because Eddie Murphy just sells it, man. When Eddie wants to be funny and he wants to sell something, like whether it's a movie or a comedy show or whatever, it works, man. Trying to think here. What's a what's an Eddie Murphy joke that I like? I remember talking about it as a kid. One of my favorite ones was when he was because he was saying it to like a kid. He's like how old are you? You know he's like hey you know it's like you're. He's like how old are you? And I think the kid said he was like 12 or 14, which is crazy to bring your 12-year-old child to an Eddie Murphy comedy show in the 80s. Um, and he's like, you're gonna be all messed up. Let me tell you a joke that you can say at school. And he was like, there's a bear and a rabbit taking a poop in the woods, and the bear turns to the rabbit and says, "Do you have trouble with with poop sticking to your fur?" And the rabbit says no. He's like, so the bear wipes his butt with the rabbit. That was one of my favorite Eddie Murphy jokes, even though there's like no cussing or swearing in it technically. I think it was just so freaking hilarious. Who is Al Capone? Me. I'm Al Capone. You know, will the real Al Capone stand up? Prove me wrong. Dude, this hangout has deviated into just total nonsense, and I'm loving it. Parker Curry, who is that? Let me know. Do you like Thomas Jefferson? Let me know. President Thomas Jefferson. Who was the first lady, though? Was he married? All right. All right. Let me see here. Do you like. Who's that? Is that Sally Hemings? I have no idea who that is, my man. No idea. Let me know. Let me know. All right. All right. So keeping it going with a little bit of football, we've taken a little bit of a detour, which was a fun detour. I'm not gonna lie. So the next moment that is gonna live rent free in my brain for the NFL season in 2025 is this bad boy right here. This was an absolutely wild freaking game between the Rams and the Seahawks, man. Highly contested, hotly contested. It was back and forth until this weird freaking play right here, man. So this was a 2-point conversion that was ruled initially incomplete. And then 5 minutes later, literally 5 minutes later, they're already lining up for the onside for the kickoff, and the referees blow that play dead before it can get going. And they're like, the previous play is under review. It's literally been like 5 or 6 minutes since this play was blown, since this play was called incomplete. And when they looked back, it ended up being a backwards pass that fell to the ground. So that was technically a fumble. The ball rolled into the end zone. And Zach Charbonnet, right here, number 26, just coolly, calmly collected and does what every player should do. Unless you hear a whistle, even if you do, pick up the ball. Pick it up, especially if it's in the end zone. And that's what he did, and the play was overturned, and when it was a 2-point conversion, and Seattle was able to get a big, big victory there. That helped them almost secure the number 1 seed that they ended up using to ride all the way to the Super Bowl. So, your local Freddie Mercury too. Just remember, oh my God, absolutely, 100%, man. Arguably, one of the greatest voices, if not the greatest voice of all time. At least male voice, man. I know Whitney Houston is, and but yeah, man. I mean, Queen is that's another band that I grew up listening to, thankfully, because of some older siblings, older cousins were listening to Queen at the time. Like I mean, We Are the Champions was in just about every kids movie that you every kids sports movie that you could grow up with. I'm pretty sure one of the Mighty Ducks ends with We Are the Champions. I'm trying to think here. Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the weirdest, greatest songs of all time. It's such a weird, winding road. Um, I'm trying to think. We Will Rock You, of course. Classic. Absolutely freaking classic. But even then, dude, like, there's so many songs that, and like those songs don't even do an incredible job of highlighting Freddie's like range. Their most popular songs are not necessarily known for Freddie doing like belting out incredible solos. But some of their other ones, man, are just incredible. Incredible, incredible. Yeah, actually, I have my phone here, man. So one of my favorite artists that I'm listening to, I've been listening to him for, I think, since he dropped his first studio album, which was Channel Orange. I'm a big Frank Ocean fan. So a little bit of R&B, a little bit of not necessarily even hip hop, but like definitely R&B with a little bit of a soulness to it, a little bit. But yeah, man, Frank Ocean. I can listen to Frank Ocean anytime, any day. Uh, there's an album that I listened to. It came out in 2018. Blood Orange. I recommend it. Blood Orange, great one. Very really good vocals. Very jazzy. If you like a little bit of jazz, it has a little bit of that. It definitely veers more. It kind of veers into a little bit of jazz with definitely some R&B influences. If not, it might be R&B with a little bit of jazz influence, if anything else. But I do recommend that. Your local Charbonnet literally saved Seattle seasons with this 100%, man. It was a great heads up play by Charbonnet, man. Like, just pay attention to where the ball is. If it's on the ground, if it's in the end zone, pick it up. The worst thing that happens is you just picked it up for maybe no reason, but even then, you know, get your lunges in. Bend down. Get your lunges in. Maybe do a squat down, pick it up. Can never skip leg day as a running back. me see here. What else? One of my favorite songs actually is "I Need a Dollar" by Aloe Black. Came out in 2010. Such a good song, man. Great, like great old school, almost like big band kind of music. It's the one that goes, "I need a dollar, dollar, dollar. That's what I need." Hey, hey. So that's all I'm gonna sing. I don't know what YouTube's issue is with copyright, but I'm not gonna sing much more than that. Just give you a little taste. I do recommend that. Once again, "I Need a Dollar" is the song name, so it's a good recommendation. Of course, I got to get my Frank Sinatra on, one of my favorite artists. Frank Sinatra's songs are my go-to when it comes to karaoke. It's the one I feel the most comfortable. "Fly Me to the Moon" is my go-to song for karaoke. Can never go wrong with like honestly you can never go wrong with big band, kind of croners. That's what Frank is, a little croner. Fly me to the moon. All right, all right. Let's get Zach out of here. Even though he did a heck of a play, man. One of the weirdest freaking plays. I know Sean McVay after the game was kind of irked by the timing of everything there because he's like I've never experienced that. He's like I've never been lining up for the next play, especially on the kickoff, and been told that it was an incomplete, and then they're like, "Oh no, we have to go back to 6 7 minutes ago." So yeah, trying to think here. Oh, Jack White, Blunderbuss was an album that I was really into when I was starting out college. Over a decade ago at this point. My goodness, I'm getting old. Yeah, Jack White, Blunderbuss. Very, very cool. I like that album. One of my favorites. Trying to think here. Trying to think here. What other? I actually been listening to the Sinners soundtrack. The movie came out last year. Yeah, great movie by the way. Recommend it if you like kind of like a little bit of a genre bending movie, a little entertainment. If you like that, but the music, honestly, man, the music was the thing that really made me like that movie quite a bit. Great music, great performances, man. I remember it really took me back to I took a rock and roll history class in college, and dude, it took me way back to because we started out in that class. We started talking about the basically like in the 19 like the turn of the 20th century. We talked a little bit about like 1880, 1890 stuff, but like it's so hard to it's so unwell documented some of that stuff, and it's so much of it is like folklore more than reality potentially. But once you get into like the 1910s 1920s with like muddy waters, the Delta blues and stuff like that, and you saw the influence that had with when they started going up to Chicago, to L.A. area, California, even into New York and stuff like that. You saw so much of the influence of like Southern blues music that kind of became rock, that became hip hop, became R&B, became soul, became most of modern music. Even current country is very much still within that time, that musical frame of Mississippi Delta blues music of the 20th century. But anyway, sorry. But the movie and the album was like basically like a love letter to that type of music from over 100 years ago. Man, it's so yeah. If you like music and you like well-made movies, I recommend that, man. Even just the album, man, is worth the listen. Chris Lasso, what up? Good evening, brother. How you doing, man? What up? What up? We're talking some music. Oh, hey, AM Outdoor Media. What's up? What's up? You like having Matt LaFleur and Brian back, or did you want to move on? I see the Packer flags. Oh, hey, what's going on, brother? Yeah, yeah. Big Packer fan. I'm okay with Brian and Matt coming back. I think it's worth doing it for another year or two to see, are we truly that close? I think also you need to give Brian a chance to see if this Micah trade was worth it. I think if you would have let him go or fired him after just one season, I think it would have been a little bit like you don't allow a guy to trade multiple first round picks and a pretty good player in Kenny Clark for to see what you can do in one season. So I like what Brian has been able to do. I think he's been building a decent team. I wish he would be better at hitting the later picks, especially the undrafted guys. I feel like the bottom of the Packers roster has been lacking for the last couple of years. It hasn't been as high quality. Um, like if you look at the Ted Thompson, even though he had his blind spots, he was always incredible at finding free agents that would make an impact. Sam Shields, Tremont Williams, even Eric Walden had a couple great games. 3 sacks against Chicago in one of those games. I'm trying to think of who else, man. There were some of the other players. Ruvel Martin was pretty solid for a bit there in the early years of the Aaron Rodgers era. But yeah, Goody has really not been able to find that even just a handful of like true great free agents. And I think that's causing some issues in the back end of the Packers roster. So hopefully over the next season or two, they can find some better players to help up that special teams unit to get better, a little bit more impactful players. And then I think Matt is a good coach. I like his offense. Sometimes he gets in his own way at times, but I think that's most coaches, especially nowadays. And I think the way he's been able to handle the not only working with Rodgers but the transition from Rodgers to to Love. That's not something that I think is easy to do. It could have easily been a horrendous start to the Love era, but they've made the playoffs every single year, and they've been borderline very good for most of it. So, yeah, that's kind of my opinion. So, but AM, welcome, brother. But yeah, let me know who you're a fan of, man. Let me know. Let me know. I agree with you a lot. Very few late round free agent diamonds have been found by him. Like Matt LaFleur, a lot too. Yeah, has stuff fixed. Yep. but hoping to see them close games this year seems to be a struggle. A little bit, yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, they've definitely won some close games. Like, I think it was even like in Jordan's first couple of games. Like, I think week 3 against the Saints. They came back down. I think they were down 17-0, and they ended up winning that game. That was Jordan's first come from behind victory in the fourth quarter. So yeah, like and it's just one of the thing that with Matt LaFleur that I don't want to say drives me up a wall because I tend not to get frustrated with football games anymore. But it's it's like the games where like the Philly game this year, where both teams sucked. They were terrible. It was one of the worst games I've ever watched in my entire life, and I'm just like, the Eagles are giving you every single opportunity to just win that game by accident, and somehow you're finding ways, whether it's play calling or you're just putting your players in bad situations or they're just putting themselves in a bad situation, but you're just not, like, it's one thing if you play bad, but if the other team is playing just as bad, if not worse, you need to find ways to win those games. Like, I don't mind the Chicago ones where it's like Chicago has a good team, man. They're playing great. They were playing with confidence. They were willing to take risks. But Philly was just horrendous. The Packers should have won that game just by default. But the fact that they didn't, those are the types of games where the Packers are playing bad, so bad that they look like one of the worst teams, but yet they still have a chance to win, but they don't. Those are the games that I wish Matt would turn around. Because I believe if the other team is playing that bad, you should win. You should be able to win if you want to be a true Super Bowl contender. Like even Super Bowl contenders, like you saw Seattle, they played horrible against the Colts this year, but guess what? They kicked 6 field goals and won the game. Even though the Seahawks, their offense was not like always lights out, even though they were pretty great some games. There were some games where they had 3 or 4 turnovers, but they won games, even in those games. And those are the things that you need to do, in my opinion. Those are the things that Matt and this team need to do. Even when they're playing bad or things don't go correct or everything falls into place, they still need to find ways to win that game. That's what I think that's missing for the Packers and Matt LaFleur. But, yeah. Let me see here. Big Packer fan? Yes, 100%. You tuned into the combine? I did not, man. I should have. This week has just been really freaking busy, man. My lease is going to be, I don't want to say it's up. I have a couple more months, but I have to make a decision whether I'm going to be moving or not. So I've been looking around other places and then just work and then other things. But no, and I did not get a chance to watch any of the combine. Was there anything good? Let me know if I missed anything, any storylines. I'll look into them. I will definitely look at. Eben! What's going on? Changed my profile picture, but I made it. Let's go. Hey, Dave. How are you doing? I'm doing well, my dude. I'm doing well. I was going to say, you have a new picture. Is it a duck or a goose? Right on. But yeah. But yeah, Eben, I'm doing well, brother. It's a long time no see, my man. How you been? How's life been without football? AM agreed. There you go, my man. But yeah. So AM, so officially big Packer fan. Who's let me see, I'm trying to think here. Let me think of a good question. Give me, and it doesn't have to be official, but give me like your top favorite game as like a Packer fan, like throughout your entire life. What was your favorite game that you when you think about it, you're like, that's the game I liked. I would love to rewatch that game. Mine would be, there's probably 2 that I can think of at the top of my head. Is the Brett Favre. It was the final game that he won in the playoffs. It was against Seattle. It was that snow globe game. I think they beat Seattle 42-21, I think. And then the other one that I can think of is Aaron's game against Atlanta the year that they won the Super Bowl. Like that to me, that is still the best Aaron Rodgers game that I've ever seen, man. Just the way he was able to avoid so many sacks, man. That's when you knew that Rodgers is like, oh, this guy can be an elite quarterback, not just a very good young quarterback. So, but yeah, let me know. Eben, it's a goose in front of a German flag. Oh, right on. Life without football is so boring. You're not wrong, man. You are not wrong. I had exams this week. Hey, how'd they go? Or if you haven't gotten the grades yet, let me know how you felt after every. Did you feel good? Did you feel prepared? I'm stoked that the Lions are going to Munich, Germany next season. Let's go. Yeah, man. Heck yeah. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I know the Packers were in line to potentially go to Europe, but yeah, the Packers are one of the few teams that are like I don't they clearly do not want to play in Europe because I feel like they don't want to give up a home game. That's the biggest crook. That's the biggest reason. Chris, haven't tuned in myself. I've been on the road for work nonstop, but I've watched some snips showing Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles. Heck of a name right there. With pretty good combine results, stock is up. Let's go. I like it. I like it. Sonny Styles. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to look him up. And I will be trying to do some stuff for the NFL draft. I'll try to do basically some player profiles basically. So I'll try to do those. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to do those. I don't think that I can use any kind of film because like the NFL is they're okay if you show some film as long as it's not like an actual broadcast. Like if you do like kind of like the all 22, they're okay with that. I won't make any money off of those videos, but right now since I'm not monetized, I don't make any money right now. Check out the Patreon, guys. Um, um, but um, but yeah, but with college football, they will take down the video completely. So yeah, it's really weird. College football, like it's free advertising for your product. It's like I don't need to make money off the video, but let me just keep the video up. But apparently the NCAA or whatever the heck it is, college or the conferences, they take the videos down. So, but yeah, but I'm gonna try to find some type of way to talk about some players from the draft. So maybe I'll just put like a picture up of the player, and then I'll just kind of give you my breakdown of what I saw, maybe some stats, things like that. So I'll try to do that. Eben, I passed A's on some, C's on others, decent average. I would say, hey, let's go. Hey man, C's get degrees. It's okay. C's get degrees, and on top of that, I've always said this, man. Do not worry about like the grade is only what you were able to do at that time. It does not mean what you can do in the future, my man. Life is long, and you can always get better at something, even though the grade will stay whatever it is. So, yeah, yeah. Trust me, man. There's some like I remember this still bothers me because I'm a big history guy. I remember I got a history of I think it was French history. I got a C minus, and but I took a history in French in college, and I knew so much before that class even started, and I finished that class with an A. So like high school C minus, college A. Never stop learning, my man. Never stop learning. LOL, I don't take school seriously. I pay attention in class, do some work, and pass. All right, all right. That's fair. Honestly, it sounds like you take it more serious than I did. I remember taking naps in certain classes. I'm not gonna lie. To be fair, I was doing really well in those classes, so I just got the teacher didn't even wake me up. He's like, he's getting an A. It's fine. I remember one time there was one of my professors in college. I literally was just like every quiz, every test, everything was getting just A, and I basically didn't. I didn't need to show up to class anymore. Basically, like I think the last exam that I took, I didn't even show up to like the first like the last 2 weeks, and I got an A on it. And I remember I showed up to one of them and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry I haven't been showing up." He's like, "You're fine, man." He's like, "You always do the homework, you always do the exams, you're doing great in the class." He's like, "I get it." He's like, I don't have an issue with it." He's like, "Just make sure you show up to when you need to." And I was like, "All right." So yeah, but don't be afraid to do your best, my man. Challenge yourself in some way. It's always fun. Yeah, don't take naps in classes though. Don't do what I did. All right. Trust me, I feel like I would be a little bit smarter if I didn't, but you know, that's the 16-year-old in at the time that thought he knew a lot more than he did. So I want to go to trade schools anyway. If I don't, then engineering, and Michigan has great engineering programs. All right. I'm not worried about school now. I'm going to focus on my relationships with my friends. Okay. All right. Do your thing. Do your thing, man. But yeah. I know you're doing trades, which is to me great. Working with your hands, doing things, building things, or just fixing things is always great. But don't be afraid to be able to live in both worlds, my man. You can be a tradesman, but also be an academic when the environment needs to be, man. So being able to live in both worlds, it's a skill as much as anything else. Think of it as learning a different language in that sense. It's not necessarily one better than the other. It's more of like being able to transition in a moment's notice. So yeah, I'm naturally talented at math, so maybe something with that. I don't know. I'm going to take physics next year. Oh heck yeah, dude! Let's go. I was not gifted in math. I was not gifted in math. Like I was doing great in algebra, understood it, but once we got closer and closer to kind of like the grids and stuff like that, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I have no interest in this. But I did enough to. I think my last math class, I think I got a B minus. I'm not gonna lie. Might have been C plus. I don't know. I would have to look back at it, but it was not like a D or a low C. So did just enough. Did just enough to make it look good. Yeah. Once they started talking about matrices, I don't know. Maybe because like, again, I was not always the best student, or maybe just didn't have the best teacher. But I'm not gonna blame the teacher. I'll blame it on myself. But yeah, man. Yeah. Not great at math, history, science. It was always my jam. Chris Lesso, pre-calculus is where I went off the rail with math. Never again after that. Same, same. Yeah, there was a so there was a program that we I think it was a program that the state universities bought basically that they were implementing kind of like all over the place. And one of my professors was one of the I don't know exactly what it was. I don't know if it's he was one of the engineers or he was one of the people that kind of implemented this program. Like incredibly intelligent. Like you can tell like some of the most complicated stuff. Like he was just flying through it, man. Um, very intelligent, and you can tell he was one of those guys that was so smart that it was a struggle for him to dumb it down to pre-calculus. And I remember one time during class, and this was in college. Like again, this is not high school. This is college. I think it was my second year in college. He like talked for like probably like 7 minutes about something, and he's like, "Can somebody basically finish this or whatever?" And basically, it was basically finished. He was trying to test us to see if we were like either paying attention or if we could just even just get to the end of it, and like basically just put a bow on it. And in the class of like 20 people, nobody went up there and able to finish it. And let's just say the next 5 minutes, he was not happy with us at all. Yeah. And I was just like, this is definitely gonna be my last math class. And that was the one I got like the B minus, C plus, whatever. And I was like, done with that. Done with that. You know, the way I look at it, man, I can, as long as I can divide and multiply, like 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 9, 27. 10 divided by 5, 2. There you go. All right, I got it. Yeah, I think still, it was so hard not to laugh, dude, because you can tell like he was not trying to be rude, but he was just so beside himself, man. He was just like, I cannot physically make it any easier for you guys to understand this. He's like, I can't. I can't get any lower than this, like for him. And I remember his final words were, he's like, this is as simple as it gets. He's like, this is not going to get easier. Basically like telling everybody in the class, if you want to continue with math, you need to be able to do better than what I have on the board here. If you can't do this, it's like, yeah. So I was like, so at least he was kind of honest. He was not happy though, man. He was yeah. Still the only time I ever feel like a professor was like, he's like, you know what, dude? I'm going to give you guys all A's because I don't want to deal with any of you. How have you been spending your weekend since the start of the off season? Mostly just working, to be honest with you. Just mostly working, trying to set up my off season program, and just kind of doing some ideas of what I can do during the season. So kind of stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like the up until this week, I was just kind of just not doing much. I'm not gonna lie. Had a little bit of takeout. Was cooking a little bit. Was still working a little bit, but I didn't really do a whole lot. Like I was trying to decompress from the season. Decompress, because yeah, we did a lot of streams, man. I think we did over. I think it was close to 105 games, and almost all of them are like around 3 hours. So hundreds of hours were done. At least like in terms of streaming, it doesn't even talk about like the prep work that goes into each game and stuff like that. So yeah, man. So I took a couple weeks off. I was lazy, which was okay, but yeah, this week, man, been working hard, trying to make some money, trying to pay the rent, pay the bills, trying to save up for the fall because that's when I usually go back down to part time, so I can really put in some hours on the channel. But yeah, but it's been nice, man. Actually, the last week it's been warm in Wisconsin. It's been like 40s and 50s the last week and a half. But yeah. But Chris, I know you said you've been driving around, my man. Have you gotten a chance to like maybe do some fun stuff on the side? Maybe do like let me know. Let me know. Outside of work, have you been able to do some fun stuff? Chris, much needed decompress for sure, 100%. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love it, man. Like I said, dream freaking job right here, man. Like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm like, oh my god, I'm like those construction workers working at 100-degree weather. I'm not doing that, but it's a lot of time and commitment to it, man. Oh, hey, Chris, did we talk about the head coach hire, Halfley? I don't know. I can't remember if we talked about him or not. What do you think? Yeah, brother. Went to Morocco last month. Oh, snap! Actually, had a ton of fun there. Let's go, brother. Heck yeah! Holy freaking cow, man! What? How long were you there for? What'd you do? If you don't mind me asking. We sure did. There we go. Okay, okay. I was like, I felt like I know I talked about Halfley, but I wasn't sure if I talked about it with Chris, man. It's like we gotta get your opinion, but yeah, and I think you said you were excited, but you know, yeah. Like I said, I think Half is a good coach, and I think it's gonna be this is gonna be his first time as a head coach in the NFL, man. So it'll be interesting, man. You're getting I feel it seems like you're getting a good dude, like a good person, like I think like the grades for like coaches, and like the organizations came out like within the last couple of days, and the Packers defensive coordinator got high marks. I think he got a B plus. Like I think he was in the top half of coaches at his position. So the players really responded well to Jeff Halfley in Green Bay. So yeah, dude, Morocco, let's freaking go, man. Yeah, that is a place I do want to visit, man. Like Morocco, um, Iceland is a place I've wanted to go for a while. Japan is kind of on that little bit of a bucket list. But there's still a lot of places in the United States that I really want to go to, man. I've never been to the Grand Canyon, never been to the East Coast, like New York, Jersey, anything like that. Um, I've never even been to like Florida or anything like that. So those are some areas that I do want to go to. Which is funny because they're like, this guy wants to go to Florida. Yeah, I was there for a week with some friends. It was unreal. Great scenery, better food. It was way better than I anticipated. Heck yeah, brother. I've heard the food is incredible, man. Incredible, incredible. I've also heard it's beautiful there too. But yeah, Morocco. Isn't that where Casablanca, Casablanca took place? Which I'm pretty sure Casablanca is a place in Morocco. Casablanca, there we go. Yeah, largest city in Morocco. Yeah, so did some light skiing in the high Atlas Mountain. Ooh, quad bikes on out in the desert, camel riding. Let's go, brother. Just go crazy. Heck yeah, Casablanca and Morocco. There we go. There we go. I feel like I should have been more confident in knowing that, but I was just like, let me let me double check my work. Dude, holy cow, man! You had a freaking adventure, brother. Skiing, quad biking, and riding a camel. Also, how was the camel, man? That's something that I do want to do. How tall are they? I'm a short guy. Is it possible to get me up there? Do they need to? Are people gonna have to throw me on top of the camel, or is it gonna be like I can kind of climb my way to the top? Also, are camels mean? I've heard that they're nice, but then I've also heard that they're very, very mean. So let me know. Let me know. Seems like depending on who you talk to. They come down to you. I'm not that tall either. Had no. Oh heck yeah! Freaking camels, man. That wins me over already, man. My camel was nice as can be. There you go. Let's go. Parker Curry, Kansas State University. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they kind of crouch so you can hop on. Oh, that's freaking cool. Heck yeah. I'm going to have to do that someday, man. I've always said this, man. At the end of my life, whether that's in 20 years, hopefully a little bit longer, knock on wood, or in 45 to 50 years, whatever it is. At the end of it, I want to be able to, I want somebody, like if somebody asks me, hey, what's this like? I can give them my opinion. What's Iceland like? Pretty solid. How camels? Very, very nice. You know, I want to be able to have as many personal opinions about something, man. I almost want to be surprised about my life sometimes. I want to be like, damn, I did that? Right. Yeah. I think if I can do that in my life, I'll be, I'll be pretty happy. I'll be pretty happy. That's a great goal to have. Parker, are you okay, my man? And then, okay, so Morocco. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that, man. I've only been to one other country. That was Mexico. I've never really been out of the states. I do want to visit as many countries as I can, man. Just experience life. But first, I gotta make the money first, unfortunately, because you can't really travel for free. So yeah, so hopefully one of these days the NFL is like, you know what, man, you make some really good content. Here's $1 million. Will that happen? Probably not, but you never know. Yeah, but I'm trying to think here. So there's a few things that I've been able to cross off the bucket list. I went skydiving 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this point. That was a big one. I'm terrified of freaking heights, man. Like it's like a very visceral physical feeling, being high, or being at a high altitude. But yeah, I was like, you know what, man, skydiving, let's go, man. Dude, it was awesome. Really fun. Really, really fun. Parker Curry, do you like going to connections, Dave? I do not know what that is. David Stegosaurus. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? How you doing? How's your week been, my dude? Chris, back to Half and Sully though. They're both saying the right things, man. They also made some moves to reset the roster and it helps with the catch. There you go. Yeah, that's like that's what you gotta do, man. Especially with fortunately with the way that the Dolphins have used up the cap space, and to be fair, like they needed to. They obviously wanted a game changer like Tyreek Hill. You need to pay him. Tua at the time was kind of on the borderline between top 10 quarterback that could potentially get better. Has not turned out that way yet, but who knows? I mean, we just saw Sam Darnold lead the Seahawks to a Super Bowl championship, so it's never too late for anybody. Release Tyreek, Chubb, James, Daniels, Westbrook, I can that. Let's see here. Gotcha. Nick Westbrook, there we go. So he's making some decisions, moves. I like that. Yep, 100%, man. I think if you're the Dolphins, I think the best thing you can do is anybody that you do not see yourself keeping for 3 years or more, try to get rid of them. Trade them, cut them, whatever you're gonna do. It's because either way, even if you keep them or you cut them, it's gonna suck for a year or two, especially with the cap. But at least it'll give you a chance to be able to bring in new talent, put them on the field, get them experience, potentially get better at a much cheaper rate. So. David doing well. Went to get some Legos for niece and nephew's birthday. Let's go. Then dinner took forever. Then had to walk the dog. So I'm here now. Let's go. Let's go. Heck yeah. Well, first off, happy birthday to the niece and nephew there. Also, what'd you have for dinner, man? Let me know. Honestly, I should have. I came from work. Literally, like I got out of work at like almost 5:30, which is significantly later than I usually get out. And I thought about getting something to eat as I was there, but I was like, I should be fine. I am regretting that now because I am starving. And then, how's the doggo, man? Let me know. Eating dinner out on Friday is overrated. I kind of agree with you, man. I've always felt like my biggest reason for wanting to eat out is the excuse to meet the people that I want to hang out with. Friends, cousins, brothers, sisters, even some coworkers, man. It's just like a little bit of like an excuse to be like, hey, let's just hang out where we don't have to worry about cleaning up or, stuff like that. It's just, but the eating out itself, the price of it, even the food quality at times, not always there. Miami is okay, but they feel like a slow burn trash heap lately. Not a true dumpster fire like Cleveland. That's fair. Well, from the looks of it, like Chris was saying, man, it seems like they're putting out that fire before it becomes a dumpster fire. They're like, all right. Let's, instead of letting this turn into a dumpster fire, let's try to use this heat to whip up some good home cooking. You like how I turned that around? See? Me going to college wasn't a complete waste. It's about $55,000 right there of brain power that you just saw right there. Was it worth it? I'll let you be the judge. Still paying it off. Actually, was it 55? Might have been actually a little bit more. Oh, God. It's way too expensive, man. Literally, now I'm like doing the math in my head. No, actually, it might have been around then. It might have been around there. Good on them if they do turn things around, but I don't think the ownership has a strong track record lately. Unfortunately, no, that is true. To me, there's a few franchises that you can clearly tell that until ownership changes, it's not going to get better. The Dolphins have had some really good seasons. They just have not been consistent we're closing in on like 2 decades, probably 3 decades. Chris, you might know this better than me. Like, when's the last time you remember like the Dolphins truly being like a consistent playoff contender. Not necessarily that they were going to be winning a Super Bowl, but like you're like, hey, this year, I think we're going to be able to make the playoffs for sure. Glass half full. There we go. Always be a glass half full. All right, trust me, man. Life is already, just in general, half empty kind of thing. We don't need to help it along with being, uh, half empty as well. Dan Marino, yeah, actually, yeah, probably since Dan. Oh, man, I know. I mean, Chad Pennington had a couple good seasons, right? You know, I'm trying to think here. What was it? Cleo Clemens was it? Was he a starter for the Dolphins? Is that even the right name? Cleo Lemon, not Clemens. Cleo Lemon. How the heck did I pull that name out of my tuchus? Oh, Lemon actually started his career in Green Bay. Oh, nice. He played 3 seasons with the Dolphins from 2005 to 2007. Those are, oh man, Tannehill. Oh yeah. There we go, Tannehill. Dude, I keep on forgetting Tannehill. Tannehill is such an ingrained Tennessee Titan in my brain that I forget that he started out his career as a top 10 pick, top 10 pick for the Dolphins. Was he 7th or 8th overall? Oh my god, that literally just unlocked something. I remember. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure this was ESPN or something. This is before YouTube became like a place where you could find like true football content. But I remember people talking about Ryan Tannehill's wife. I don't know. I can't remember if it was during the draft or after he got drafted, but people were being freaking weird. Really freaking weird. I was like, all right, relax. Yeah, sorry, that just unlocked something in my brain. I remember people going crazy over Tannehill's wife for like 2, 3 months. I remember. I'm trying to remember. Tannehill's Fitzpatrick was semi close. Yep. True. Yeah, man. Hot diggity dog, man. The Dolphins, just looking at all the players that they released a lot. A lot of players. But the Dolphins haven't been playoff contenders in my entire life, and I'm damn near 30. It'll happen, my man. It'll happen. I've, as a person that loves history, I mean, it seems like almost every team, even the Cleveland Browns, believe it or not, at one time were one of the best teams in the NFL. And not just for 1 or 2 seasons. It's close to like a decade and a half. And yes, they even won a championship. Shout out Jim Brown. Legend. Rest in peace, man. Jim Brown passed away, right? I'm not putting that on him. Okay. I was. I almost said thank God. Not that he's dead, all right? Not that I got it. Scheiße. R.I.P. R.I.P. I'm sorry, Jim Brown. I'm sorry. You know what the funny thing is? I knew Jim Brown as an actor before I knew him as a football player. Because one of the movies that I remember watching up as a kid was Mars Attacks. I hate the movie. I hated it as a kid. I hate it to this day. It grosses me out. I don't know why. It's not necessarily the aliens. It's just the whole movie grosses me out. I don't know what it is. Have no idea. But Jim Brown is in the movie. He's a badass in that movie, by the way. And yeah, that's the first time I knew Jim Brown I knew him as an actor way before. Like I remember, I think he was in other movies. Like he was like in movies in the 70s and 80s, like blaxploitation, Shaft kind of style movies. But yeah, man, like Jim Brown to me was an actor. Any Given Sunday, he's a coach, plays a coach in that one. But yeah, man. So, yeah. Shout out Jim Brown. Legend on the screen and on the field. Chris. Jesus, man. I should have kept that to myself, but you know what? It's the internet. It's the internet. Just give it all. Just give it all. Make myself look like a dummy. Imagine Josh Allen is having an amazing season that comes down to Miami versus Buffalo in the AFC Chip. Ooh. Oh, why'd you say wide right? Oh my God. Why would you say that, man? The Bills have been through enough. At least for now. We can make fun of them after the draft when they have hope again. Just to kind of balance it out. David, I didn't know he was in that. Yeah, dude, 100%. I feel like Jim Brown was the only good thing. He's the only one thing in that movie that does not make me want to be like, oh, that's gross. Jim Brown was a badass in that movie, man. Absolute freaking badass. I think he wears like a pharaoh hat in that thing. He wears it throughout the entire movie. It's like pharaoh Egyptian garb. Don't know why. I can't remember the context of it. Dude, that dude was still jacked. And this was the 90s. Pretty sure he was like in his 50s or 60s at that time. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, Jim Brown was born in 36. So yeah, he was like basically in his 60s. The dude was still jacked, man. Absolute jacked. If only I can look like that when I'm 60. Actually, I would like to look like that now. Say that. Actually, I would like to look like that ever. I'll take the body of a Jim Brown in his 60s right now, please. Because I feel like I have to hit the gym. Gotta work on the quads. Yeah, we're about a little over 2 hours in, and my brain has finally just given up. Sorry, guys. I appreciate you. That's when you know you're a freaking legend. Jim Brown, part of the NFL's 50th anniversary all-time team. 50 years later, part of the 100th anniversary all-time team. 50 years is a long freaking time. There's been a lot of great players, even at the running back position. And everybody's like, nah, Jim Brown is, yeah, he's still top 2, top 3 at that position. Even 50 years later. The first 50, he was on the list. The next 50, he's on the list. Damn. I'm just getting started. Let's go, baby. Let's look into the abyss and fall into it. Yeah, so he appeared in The Running Man. He was Fireball. He was one of the dudes that tries to kill Arnie in that movie. That's right. Holy freaking cow. Jesus. He was in the original Gangsters, 1996. Mars Attacks, 1996. Any Given Sunday, 1999. He was in a couple seasons of Knight Rider and was in an episode of the A-Team as well as Chips. He was the lead in 100 Rifles. He was actually, sorry, I'm on Wikipedia here. Jim Brown was billed over Raquel Welch and Burt Reynolds. Wow. Yeah, they're like, hey, we have Burt Reynolds and Raquel Welch. Yeah, but we also have Jim Brown, so we're going to put him at the top. Freaking Jim Brown, man. Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked there, man. I'm looking at the legend. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think most people were here because I talked about it relatively early when we were having some issues. Unfortunately, I had to cut the stream off at after about 20 minutes. Just kind of died. OBS just kind of quit on me. But yeah, the Packers hired a new new special teams coordinator today. He was the special teams coordinator for the Patriots from 2000 to 2023. Sorry, 2020 to 2023. Sorry, 4 years. First year with the Patriots, first overall special teams. Second year, 18. Third year, 32. And then his last season, I think they were 28th, something like that. So a little bit of a downward trend with Cameron. What the heck was his name? Cameron Orchard here. Let me bring him up. So yeah, Rich Bisaccia stepped down from his position 10 days ago. I didn't completely forget to talk about it last week. Yeah, just completely forgot, man. But yeah, man, so the Packers are going to have a new special teams coordinator. I think there's some Packer fans that are happy, but I feel like most are a little bit trepidatious with these numbers right here, 32, 28. To put that in perspective, Rich Bisaccia's final two seasons were basically around the high 20s in terms of special teams ranking. So not significantly better, but we'll see. So Cameron has, before he was the special teams coordinator, I kind of sandwiched the most important part, but before he was the special teams coordinator for the Patriots, he was the assistant special teams coordinator for them for 3 seasons before that. He was part of the team that beat the Rams in 2018. Super Bowl 43, that was that terrible freaking Super Bowl. He was part of the staff, so he got a ring there. And then after he left the Patriots as their special teams coach, he spent the last 2 seasons as the Giants' assistant special teams coordinator. So not their coordinator, but their assistant special teams coordinator. So, but yeah, so. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what this will look like, man. I think, especially when it comes, I think that's true for anybody. I think quality players make a better coordinator. I think you can have a great scheme, but if you don't have players that can execute it at a high level, it's not going to matter. And this is also why I kind of brought up why I think Goody and his staff need to do a better job of finding talent in later rounds, as well as street free agents, undrafted free agents. Because when you have those guys, you don't want your guys like Lucas Van Ness. You don't want your Micah Parsons, your Romeo Dobbs to be on special teams. It'd be awesome if they can contribute, sure, but you want your guys that are your starters on offense and defense to stay like that, and you want to have specialists on your special teams. Your gunners, your returners, your wing blockers. You want to have guys that are consistently able to work on that position, on that role, and do it at a high level. You don't want them to be able to have to play defense and then kind of try to see if they can squeeze in special teams. So, yeah, I'm hoping the over the next year or two, the Packers special teams can get back to at least making some fewer mistakes and maybe peppering in a big play here and there, even if it doesn't result in a touchdown. I will take a 25-yard punt return every third game. I wouldn't mind that. All right. But yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think of the hire here? Do you guys like it? Do you guys are like, I have no idea. Didn't know that guy existed until you brought it up now, which is fair. That is it's a fair comment because I was right there with you. Didn't know who he was until today. And I was like, all right, I'll look it up. I'll look him up. I love it, David. I love it. I just learned about it when you told me now. So, meh. You know what? That is a fair take. So many people are like, you need to love it or you need to hate it. It's like, I don't know, man. We'll see. Same. Guy just entered exist 100%. If they told me this guy was AI, was created by AI, I would be like, you know what? That's a possibility. It's a possibility. If Matt LaFleur was like, hey, we crunched our ideal special teams coordinator and what he would say, what he would do, what scheme, and we put it into an AI generator. This is what it came out with. I'm like, all right. I'm not an AI guy. I would prefer not to use it, but guess what? If it gets the Packers wins, I will do it. I will accept it. I will accept it. But yeah, we'll see what Cameron can do, man. Hopefully it's an improvement, man. Like I said, I'm just looking for us to be able to block and just get decent returns. Stop fumbling the ball. Stop making it worse. Just be an average special teams. If you can do that, I'll be good. Just be good. Gross. AI sucks. 100%. 100%. 100%. But again, if it helps the Packers win, just one Super Bowl. Just one Super Bowl, and then we'll stop. We'll stop using AI. Just one Super Bowl. Come on. Yeah. No. Maybe. No. No, yeah. You're never gonna see AI on this channel, man. And if you do, I will let you know. I don't really plan on it. I don't see the need for it. I've always said I was like, if people were watching or even slightly watching when the channel was starting out and it was really bad, they'll watch it as even if it's slightly okay now. So, yeah. All right, guys. I think that's all I had for today, man. So we kind of went through some of the highlights of the regular season for myself. We talked about some music. We talked about Jim Brown. We all learned that he's an actor. Pretty good actor, by the way. And we finally found out that Cameron Orchard is a real human being. So, you know what, man? Every day you learn something new. Also, we had everybody pop in, man. Heck yeah, we got David, we got Chris, Morocco. I got that. We had Eben in here, man. Congrats on the A's, even on the C's, man. All right. We had AM Outdoor Media pop in here for a bit. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Your local was in here as well. Good to see you. Steve, let's go. Yeah, Steve was even in here when when the frames were dropping. So shout out to you, man. Captain Mickey Mouse, always good to see you, buddy. And I think we even saw a sighting of Dahlia, who was in here for a bit. So yeah, man. We had almost all the regulars pop in here, man. Let's go. Yeah, guys. I gotta wake up. I gotta work. I gotta be up by 5 in the morning to get to work tomorrow. So I am gonna have to, usually I kind of let the stream kind of ride until people don't want to watch, but I do have to cut a little bit early today, even though we've gone for 2.5 hours. Let's go. But yeah, man. Thank you guys so much. I might have to actually do a stream on a different day next week. They got me working on Friday. I should be able to still do a stream on Friday, but I'm not sure exactly what time. So just to be safe, I'm going to have to do one on a different day next week. So there might be two, or there will be that one day. But I will let you guys know by Sunday. I'm off on Sunday. So yeah, I will post it. I'll let you guys know. It'll probably be like a Wednesday or maybe like a Thursday. It'll be one of those days. But yeah, I'll let you guys know. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to start filming. It's Not a Film Room starting this coming week. So, starting on Sunday, kind of going into like Monday is when I'm going to start filming those and I'll start editing them. So I'll hopefully have the first one out by, if not this time next week, a couple days after. So, and then, yeah, and we're going to start popping those out. My plan, once again, is to try to get one or two out every other week. They might come out in batches. So there might be 1 week where there's none, and then the next week we'll have 2, maybe 3. So we'll kind of go there, or after that, once I kind of have enough built up, I'll maybe do every week, 1 or 2. So yeah, but I'll keep you guys posted as I always do. That's why we'll do the Hangouts. I'll kind of keep you guys posted, and yeah, and we'll figure out other things to do. Ouch, that's early. Get some rest, brother. Good to see you. Always, my man. Yeah, it is early, but luckily I literally, it's like a 5-minute drive to get to work. Plus, I get out early as well. So I come in early and I get out early, which I like. So, but yeah, man. Okay, well, sleep well and stuff. David, I appreciate you, man. But yeah, shout out to you, man. Shout out to family. Chris, David, everybody that's watching, man. I hope your family, hope your friends are doing well. Even though football is not here, I know. It's dark times. It's dark times. But we'll get through it together, man. So, but thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out for 2.5 hours on a Friday night. So thank you so much, man. I hope you guys are doing great. I'll catch you guys next week. Once again, I'll keep you posted on when I'll be streaming again. And yeah, we're going to keep it rolling, brother. So have a good night, guys. Thank you so much. Once again, my name is Dave, and I'm not a coach.